packed city council meeting for an historic vote.
12 in favor, 6 opposed.
With that, human rights are extended to include LGBT citizens here in Jacksonville. Supporters celebrating in Hemming Park. They threw an impromptu dance party.
That's amazing. Progress for, progress for the few is progress for all.
Opponents, however, are disappointed.
Well, it's definitely not God's will based on the authority of Scripture.
Tonight, Mayor Curry said in an email he will not veto the measure. So Jacksonville becomes one of the last major cities in the U.S. to enact legal protection barring discrimination against this minority.
Advocates for this change are celebrating tonight, as you saw, partying across the street from City Hall. We're covering the final outcome of this long-running controversy from several angles. We begin with Kent, who joins us live. Kent.
Yeah, and we're here in Hemming Park where just not too long ago, hundreds of people were celebrating here. And before that, they were waiting here. So City Council got started around 5, and it took a couple hours to get into the bill, hear some amendments, vote on them, and then finally come to the big vote. But a couple of hours? That seemed like a pretty short time for all these people who supported extending those rights to the LGBT community over many years.
Years. I'm glad that it happened.
Hundreds who showed up at Hemming Park seemed glad it happened, and hundreds more who watched inside City Hall or from an overflow room at the library. Maybe none of the dancers celebrating more than this couple, who say that they've experienced discrimination because of their sexuality.
We have experienced it. We live at the beach. We've been denied service at a couple of restaurants because we weren't quite feminine enough.
Ouch.
Yeah,
right?
Ouch.
Yeah.
And I'm a native of Jacksonville. What I can't believe is I used to live near here. I used to play in this park. And look what happened tonight. Equal rights. It's unbelievable that it happened.
Opponents to expanding the ordinance didn't want to believe it would happen. Some protested by marching around City Hall and praying.
It's codified. If it's law, it's law. Not too much we can do about that. We just continue to pray and depend on God and let God do the moving and let God take control of the situation and not us.
Listen, this bill restricts religious liberty. It is horrible for litigation problems for small business.
Despite those protests before the vote, council moved ahead and made these people excited for the hope and relief that they see in the amendment.
To have this come to fruition, it just brings tears to my eyes. People are people. Love is love. That's all there is to it.
I spoke with that woman's son, Joe, who told me he left Jacksonville in 2012 after that effort then to expand rights in this HRO failed. He says he's very excited to come back and see the progress in Jacksonville. Live downtown, Kent Justice, Channel 4, the local station.
Kent, we know attendance at the previous public comments meetings for City Council was overflowing. Did that happen again tonight?
Well, certainly a lot of people came out to City Hall, but yeah, back when we knew there were going to be public comments, there was literally 1,000 people who tried to get into City Hall, and then there was an overflow room inside City Hall as well. Tonight, there wasn't that overflow room, but there was overflow, as we showed you in our earlier newscasts, at the main library, and there were hundreds more there who were attending and interested and kind of hanging on every word that came out of City Council leading up to the vote on expanding the HRO. Maybe not as many people as had shown up previously because there was not an opportunity to directly comment to the council. Mary, Tom?
All right. Thank you, Kent.
Channel 4's Jim Pickett was inside the meeting as the votes were cast. He spoke with council members right after the decision. He's joining us now live. Jim, you've been covering this issue since 2012.
That's right. That's when Warren Jones introduced it then, and it was soundly defeated. They tried again in 2015, and that was withdrawn, and then it passed tonight. Though it passed tonight, there were some tinkering with the law on here. What they basically did is redefine what a religious organization is, and they also decided that any jail time for not abiding by this law would be removed from this and any form of discrimination. The vote says it all, 12-6, with Councilmember Katrina Brown absent. Councilmember Aaron Bowman, who introduced the legislation, says the final vote nearly brought him to tears.
This is an emotional issue. When you look at our population, maybe 40 or 50,000 people have been discriminated against, and tonight we said that's not going to happen again.
Councilman Bill Gulliford was against this measure from the start and was unable to get enough support to make changes, such as pulling out protection for transgenders, and failed to get the council to agree to put it to a public vote.
It would be great to look in people's minds as to why they voted. It seemed like the issues that I raised and the concerns were not concerns for many other people, and I think they were legitimate concerns. So it's unfortunate. There's very strong passion.
City council members know that there's a large group of constituents that were against this legislation.
I think that we listened and we tried to make sure that those liberties were protected and the rights of individuals who were expressing their opposition were protected in that regard.
Now, there's been a lot of concern that Mayor Curry could veto this, but right after the vote, his office issued this statement, and the mayor is basically saying he continues to believe that additional legislation was unnecessary. But he went on to say, but this evening, a supermajority of the city council decided otherwise. So this supermajority represents people of both parties, and they made it clear that this law is important. And also, the mayor, you know, he really didn't want to talk earlier today about this, but now that he's not going to veto it, that is the main concern, and people here were relieved to see that happen. We're live at City Hall. Jim Pickett, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Jim. Now, there's a lot of reaction tonight on social media as well. Joy is joining us with what people are saying. Joy?
Well, Mary, we wanted to know what our viewers think about tonight's vote. So we posted this poll on our Facebook page. We asked if you're glad the HRO was expanded or if you're upset about it. Hundreds of you voted so far. 65% of you said, yes, I'm glad the HRO was expanded. 35% of you said, no, I'm upset HRO was expanded. Now, we also asked you to post your opinion. John Beer, take a look, for example, wrote, this will further assist Jacksonville in attracting companies who demand expansion HRO laws already codified. This is a great day for the city. Others, though, are taking a tougher stance. Robin Smithy, one of them, said, I will never shop or come to Jacksonville again, and thank you, because now my daughter will not be applying to any colleges there either. We still want to know what you think. Head to our Facebook page now to give your 2 cents. Tom?
Thank you, Joy. As Jim mentioned a moment ago, the fight over expanding the Human Rights Ordinance has been going on now for 5 years. A similar bill failed in 2012 by a 9-10 vote. That time, a member of the council switched his position at the last minute and cast a deciding no vote. Last year, there was a second proposal that did not go over well in committee meetings, and it was eventually withdrawn.